Time frame correlation part one. So the reason why I'm kind of making this video a part one, because I do talk about it in the guided bootcamp, but I want you to come back to this video at the end of the bootcamp if needed, right? At the end of the guided bootcamp, so you guys understand, or obviously have this, to prepare you guys for what's going to be in the guided bootcamp, to understand what all of these time frames are for, right? I get asked very frequently, what entry signal is your what time frame do you look for your entry signal? What time frame are you buying? What time? Okay, like this is all the time frames that I have, and it's a very simple reason. There's a purpose for every single time frame depending on the type of trade you're going to take. Obviously, I am a swing trader, but we understand that sometimes the markets may take a while to have a swing trade ready. So you take a day position, a day trade, which is what I've been doing very frequently, where I've been having these great results very consistently. And I teach you this in this guided bootcamp because I teach you how to trade based off of confluences, and you grade a trade. I look to take trades that are B trades or up. I passed high school with a C. So if you could get a C setup, even, if that works for you, it's all up to your risk. And again, I'm going to get into this into more detail to the guided bootcamp videos. Right now, it's just more of an introduction. So I want you guys to understand, to have an ideal swing trade setup in order to have an A+ setup. Obviously, that's, having 100% towards your confluences. The weekly time frame, the daily time frame, and the 4-hour, as you can see, they're sectioned off here. These are the time frames you want to understand for the trend. So you want the weekly time frame. Let's just mark it off here. This is to understand whether the weekly time frame is bullish or bearish. This is to understand whether the daily is bullish or bearish. And this is for the 4-hour to understand whether it is bullish or bearish. In these first three time frames, after I understand what the trend is, I am looking to buy either at a weekly area of interest or a daily area of interest. I'm not looking to buy at a 4-hour area of interest or 2-hour, 1-hour, 30-minute. You can, but know that the grade you're going to give the trade is going to be much lower versus when you buy a trade when you're buying at the daily or weekly time frame. It's a very simple equation. If you're buying at the 4-hour, it's not going to be as effective or nearly as strong as buying at the daily or weekly time frame. So when you're buying at the weekly or daily, the percentage towards your grade is much greater versus buying at the 4-hour or any time frame lower. I do not buy or sell at any time frame under the daily time frame. So I only look to buy or sell at the daily or the weekly area of interest. The 4-hour is simply just to understand whether we've had the shift of structure, so on and so forth. That's obviously to come in the next videos. It's just a basic introduction. I want you guys to, get the feel and have an understanding of it. And then these time frames here, 2-hour, 4-hour, 1-hour, 30-minute, are simply to look for an entry signal and a lower time frame shift. That is it. I'm not going to be doing a full top-down analysis on any of these time frames. I do a full top-down analysis on the 4-hour, on the daily, and on the weekly. After I've done my full top-down analysis on these three time frames, is then when price gets to my area of interest. Once I get my rejection candle, once I get my shift at the lower time frame, is then when I look for my entry signal on these time frames. But I don't look at these time frames at all. You guys will notice when I do the Sunday swings. If you guys aren't hopping on the Sunday swings, I highly recommend you do it. You guys will notice that all I do is look at the market, and that's why I do it so fast, because it's very simple. I simply look whether we're bullish on the weekly, daily, 4-hour. Are we at an area of interest? Cool. Obviously, it's Sunday. I can't take a trade on Sunday. I'll wait till Monday to see if we get a rejection or an entry signal, and that's it. When you're doing your market analysis, it should be very fast because you're only looking at these three time frames. Obviously, I have everything already out just because it's preset, but ideally when you come into the beginning of the week, you're not supposed to have them because you're obviously not taking any trades. It's pretty much impossible to take a trade without it being open, and you can't take a trade on Sundays, or at least I highly recommend you don't. Swaps, spreads, all that stuff is going to kill you. So these four time frames is to take a trade when it is ready, when you have already built out your list of confluences, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever. And again, you guys will know that further into the guided bootcamp. These three time frames are to simply understand, where are we? Are we bullish on the weekly time frame? Is the 4-hour bearish? This is to know what we are doing. Are we going up for the majority of the part? Are we going down short term? What is going on? And obviously I go into this into detail. So it's a basic introduction. I just want you guys to understand this because this is going to be crucial to understanding Confluence number 1 when we get into it, obviously, because again, you can't take a trade without knowing where the market is. Is the market too high? Is the market too low? Where are we in the slow move? Are we at the bottom of the move on a 4-hour, but we're only on a minor retracement on the weekly time frame? So again, all of these details are going to make a lot more sense very soon. Just wanted to bring some clarity to it. These 3 time frames are to simply understand the trend. Are we bullish or bearish? I will only be buying at a weekly or daily area of interest. Area of interest can be support or resistance, structure, whatever the point is. But when we get to that area, let's say this is our, just make this blue just for this example. Let's say this is our area of interest. That doesn't mean I'm buying. This is my daily area of interest because I found this zone on the daily. It doesn't mean I'm buying on the daily time frame. No, this is the time frame. This is the zone where I want to buy. Now, when I go look for the entry, I go look for the entry signal on these time frames, right? So this is a very simple concept. Obviously, I'll get into it in the later videos. But again, one last time, you only look to buy on the daily or weekly area of interest. When it's time to look for your entry signal and your confirmation, you need to go down in these lower time frames. So it makes sense for you to have a very tight stop loss and then a very large take profit. Because if you're buying at the daily area of interest, you're setting daily targets. And if you're entering on lower time frames, you're setting stop losses on the lower time frame. That's why we could get such tight stop losses and have such great risk to rewards. But basic introduction. Again, if you need to come back to this in the future, which I don't think so, but it is here so you guys understand and you guys have it very organized. And yeah, see you guys